The following podcast contains opinion and commentary protected by the First Amendment and fair use. It may also contain adult themes, adult concepts, and adult language not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen and other folk, to your favorite cubbyhole on the internet. I am your cub in the cubbyhole. And here we are yet again. The perennial gift that continuously keeps on giving and giving us multiple chapters in this litany of things. More on Laura Owens, right here, right now. The amazing Schnitzel Ninja released a video a couple days ago of a recap of the history of the Laura Owens saga, the epic Iliad and Odyssey of pregnancy scamming over multiple men through over a decade, it seems now. This is great. This is a great TLDR. This is a wonderful condensed recap, complete with receipts and videos and pictures and screenshots of everything so far that we know. But there was someone, or something, yes, definitely, and someone who was a victim that I didn't know. We've heard about Clayton Echard, obviously. This is about his case with Laura. We've heard about Mike Maricini. We've heard about Greg Gillespie. There have been a couple other names, another Matt, and then there was a new name. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And here's my disclaimer on top of the disclaimer at the beginning. Any of the names mentioned in here, don't go contacting these people. We are just observers, and we are just commenting, as if having a conversation on the street corner as anyone else could do in public. It's not free license to go try and coax stories out of people. It's not permission to contact them and try and verify things. I don't even do that. Leave that to professionals like Megan Fox who are willing to stick their necks out, or others equally as bold, and maybe they have a little more prowess in the legal system. So just observe. Let's comment about these stories. Let's talk about them, but let's not go chasing after people. This is a great video. I'm going to just play through it. I'm going to make some commentary. I may or may not play it all in its entirety, but I want to talk about yet another face who needs to be placed on the victim list of Laura Owens. And maybe at some point, he'll have the courage to fully, for lack of better words, come out and share his story. I can see why he wouldn't. He had some degree of notoriety years ago and is trying to lead a somewhat private life, working in a different field, working very successfully from what I can tell. But it doesn't take one a great deal of time to figure out who people are and how to find images. And it's like, oh my gosh, who is this? You can find people in less than 10 minutes, sometimes faster if you're really good and you have the right tools. It's sad. It's sad that there's this cavalcade of men. I suppose if Laura Owens was a lesbian, maybe it would be a cavalcade of women. But it's not. It's men, and it probably works better for her and biases that we have in our culture that, well, women are always victims and men are always abusers. That's the thing that Laura Owens relies on to make her scam work. This is how she used the courts. This is how she plays on those emotions and those preconceptions of that. And as I said in a previous episode, this is where the Me Too movement has gone a little bit sideways, where criminally minded people go after other innocent people and use the court system against them to weaponize this fantasy land they live in where, well, these people are hurting me. Where's my Laura Owens voice?
But Your Honor, Clayton Echard did things to me. So did all the others. I need a restraining order.
I love it. I got new buttons. We got new buttons. This is fun. Hopefully the sound is good. New gadgetry. I'm sorry. I digress. I'm getting distracted by all these colorful things on my desk now. Anyhow, this is the pattern of behavior that we hope will be prosecuted with what Judge Julie Mata sent to the prosecutor's office, and we hope that Laura will in fact be charged with falsifying and fraudulently creating this nonsense. And not just with one man who had one case that Laura Owens is just coincidentally trying to appeal because it didn't go her way. And her douche canoe lawyer,
A fucking douche canoe.
wanting to make a name for himself at her expense, hoping that maybe he'll get lucky and the appeals court won't notice and they'll throw out this judgment and he'll get another douche canoe order.
A fucking douche canoe.
I love that button too. Oh, okay. Enough rambling. Let's take a look at Schnitzel's wonderful work. I've got all of this included in links below because Schnitzel is amazing. Subscribe to her channel. She's very thorough in her commentary and in her presentation of evidence. She's been around some of the other channels. Lauren Nighty, I think she's been on with Megan and some other group stuff with IT Goatee Brad. We want to support the people that produce these great pieces of work and evidence and help keep this case in somewhat of a light. Right now, there's not much going on, right? Douche Canoe is waiting for the appeals court to do things. He's been awfully quiet. It's been a month since he's produced anti-Clayton Echard, pro-Laura Owens propaganda. He's got to pay his bills. And, well, if what he says is true that he's doing all this pro bono for Laura, which I would be surprised, he's got to be doing other things. I mean, unless his cohabitating people he lives with, I don't know, a wife, a partner. Supposedly he's married. Someone's got to pay the bills, so he's got to do some other things. God knows what, and I pity the person who has to hire him. Anyhow, God, that's so catty. I can't help it. I'm just expressing myself. This is just my opinion. It is what it is. But I've watched this case for a while now. I can't believe it's been 2-3 years now. It's insane. I remember the first time this appeared, how I came across this was when Dave Neal showed up on Law Talk with Mike's channel. Actually, I think I saw something about this before Law Talk with Mike, and that was sort of a second thing I had seen, and I just sort of stumbled through it. If anyone would make a good sovereign citizen at this point, especially if they lose, would be Laura Owens, because I don't see how this case is going to go anywhere. I don't. Other legal minds don't. I'm not a legal mind. I'm just a medium smart person. Maybe not even that much. Megan Fox may have, I might be a third smart person if Megan Fox is a medium smart person. At any rate, I'm not a genius. You watch all this stuff and you've seen this thing elapse over a number of years of time. Logic has to come into the equation at some point, right? I hope, maybe. I don't see logic in Laura's arguments. I don't see it in her lawyer's arguments. I just don't see how this could be in her favor unless our system is so screwed up. Even the appeals courts can't get it right anymore, in which case we're all in trouble. But here we are. Okay, golly, I'm just going on and on and on and on and on. Let's go through Schnitzel's great video. I'll chime in as I so need to and or want to talk about things. And here it is. Again, subscribe to Schnitzel Ninja.
Ninja.
Hello everyone, this is Schnitzel Ninja and welcome to my YouTube channel. Lots of people in the Justice for Clayton community have been asking for a recap of the Laura Owens saga to introduce newcomers to the story, so I made this video. It's important to iterate that all information contained in this video is publicly available, and much of it is public record. Let's start with a story that brought this entire saga into the public eye. Former lead of ABC's The Bachelor, Clayton Echard, and a woman named Laura Owens met in May 2023. Laura first contacted Clayton via LinkedIn asking him to represent her for a real estate purchase, but things quickly escalated beyond business. Laura began sending Clayton flirtatious messages and provocative photos, leading to an in-person meetup on May 20th, 2023.
And this is where I kind of like the one conspiracy theory that floats out here, because it seems plausible. I mean, this whole thing started with her wanting to go after this guy, and as one theory floats, she was stalking him for a year or two. She tried to get what was it, a certified trainer kind of thing to try and connect with him that way, and that didn't quite mesh out. So then she chased after him for real estate deals once she learned he was a real estate agent. It seems very possible that this whole thing was orchestrated for a while, and she had targeted this guy, as apparently it seems she did to the several other men she went after. It just happens to be that Clayton was probably the most high profile out of all of them. Some others had a certain degree of prominence. Let's be clear about that. And at this stage in their lives, a number of them are doing reasonably well. Some of them would probably like to be doing a little bit better if it weren't for her litigating restraining orders that are fraudulently had and manufactured by this cacophony of alleged abuse that she has no evidence of, but somehow managed to hoodwink the courts into believing her. Again, I think this is where Me Too has gone sideways. Okay, continuing.
That night, Laura gave Clayton 2 blowjobs after both had taken THC gummies.
I'll bet he regrets that to this day now. Be careful who you let play with you, folks. And I'll probably say this more than once. Don't stick anything in crazy where they could get pregnant.
The next day, as they were looking at properties together, Clayton made it clear he wasn't interested in dating Laura and wanted to keep things professional. Laura's reaction was so emotionally extreme, Clayton passed her real estate deal off to a colleague.
The crazy eyes pictures are great that I just passed. She does that very well. That expressive eyes popping out of her head and what as if she didn't know what was going to be said. I remember that trial and all of the very histrionic reactions she has. She's a very histrionic person, as is her lawyer.
The fucking douche canoe.
Yeah.
10 days later, Laura sent Clayton a picture of a positive pregnancy test, claiming to be
Weekly positive at that.
pregnant with his child. Shortly after, she doubled down, saying she was expecting twins.
Because you just happen to know that after maybe a week of no. See, this is where it goes. It goes awry very quickly. Oh, I gave you a BJ and somehow I'm magically pregnant, and a week later I can just tell you. I just know. I just feel it. They're where's
Clayton, I'm pregnant, and it's only been 5 days, and it's twins. One of each, a boy and a girl.
come on. Do we not know things about basic biology here? Clearly not.
Over the following months, Laura bombarded Clayton with over 500 messages, calls, and emails, using at least 10 different phone numbers and email addresses to contact him. She repeatedly offered Clayton dating contracts, proposing that she would terminate the pregnancy if he agreed to date her exclusively.
It's so bizarre. What does anyone do this successfully? Come up with a dating contract? Well, I'll have an abortion. Well, especially if they're alleging that they're pregnant. I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely. Where does this come from? Where does this legalism come from? Is it her parents? Was her mother a gold digger as well? Was she extorting Ron Owens and just she actually pulled off the game of actually getting pregnant and having 2 children with Ron Owens? A friend of mine said this very well. The nut doesn't fall very far from the tree. I think there's something more going on here with family history we have yet to find out about with Laura Owens.
Even sent him an email entitled, "Having the babies if I don't hear back tonight." When Clayton refused,
I love that. That reminds me of Megan's song, "Having the babies if I don't hear back from you tonight." Oh, oh, oh. It's great. It's great. But Megan needs to release that. I think she's working on a compilation CD. I hope she is. Megan, if you hear this, thumbs up from me. If you need a producer, give me a call.
Laura took things further. She obtained his parents' email addresses and invited them to an ultrasound appointment. Well, they never responded, and when Clayton said he would attend, Laura claimed the appointment had been canceled. By August 2023, Laura filed a paternity case against Clayton in Maricopa County Family Court. But that wasn't all. She also threatened to go to the media if he didn't agree to date her. Not surprisingly, on September 18th, 2023, The Sun published an article detailing the story Laura had told them. She then took to Reddit to post further details of her story, even sharing a public Dropbox link with evidence. Evidence which was quickly debunked as edited and misrepresented. Meanwhile, Clayton took 3 separate paternity tests through RavGen. One was allegedly lost in transit, but the other 2 results that were processed stated little to no fetal DNA was found, casting major doubt on Laura's pregnancy claims.
That alone is the bombshell of the whole thing. Yes, for legal reasons, the lab has to say little to no, little being the caveat. But there's not enough to test. There's not enough to give any conclusive result to, meaning you are not fucking pregnant. That's what that means. And I remember when she was in court. Well, the testing is ongoing.
The testing is ongoing. It'll go on and on and on until I get a positive result proving that I'm right.
That's what she's trying to do. And that was what that whole thing was about, even in the court case. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. And I don't know what she was hoping for, that maybe the lab would screw up and she would get an accidental positive. That's probably it. Or maybe she's, who knows? Who knows? I could speculate for hours. How do you rationalize crazy people like that? Or let me rephrase that. How do you rationalize people who behave crazy? I don't think she's crazy from the clinical standpoint that some people, well, she just has no concept of reality. These are malicious and concerted efforts to do a certain thing with a certain goal in mind. She knows what right and wrong are. Well, she knows the difference between right and wrong, at least. But she's learned, probably through the behavior of her parents, that, well, you can scheme and connive and fraudulently produce things to get what you want. I think those are some of the lessons she learned from her family.
In late September 2023, Clayton filed for and obtained an injunction against harassment against Laura Owens. In response, she filed for and obtained an order of protection against Clayton less than 2 weeks later, though she perjured herself several times to obtain it.
A retaliatory filing from Laura. That's what that was.
Things took an even crazier turn when Laura appeared in court claiming to be 24 weeks pregnant, wearing
Fake.
what was immediately identified as a fake pregnancy belly.
Look at it jiggle.
By December, she stated she was no longer...
Jiggles like the memory foam it's made out of. I didn't see that right away because it was hard to see in the video, but through the great work of many people. You can't move your stomach up to your tits like that. Not if you're pregnant. Jesus.
Longer pregnant, yet photographic evidence showed her participating in horseback riding competitions weeks before she supposedly had a 7-month baby bump in court.
There you go.
In February 2024, at a court hearing for the case, Laura changed her story again, saying she had lost the pregnancy in September or October of the previous year, not in December, and asked for the case to be dismissed. The judge denied this request and instead ordered the release of her medical records from 2020 to 2024 to verify her claims. In an attempt to intimidate and extort Clayton, Laura then threatened a $1.4 million lawsuit alleging financial damages due to the handling of her property deal.
That was outrageous. And it was interesting. I'm not going to stop on the images to read through them necessarily. Again, go see Schnitzel's video. You can read through these things yourself. But I remember when that happened. And it was interesting because Laura had an attorney, Corey, and she bypassed him. And I've been trying to figure out why that was. Because if you have any interaction with opposing parties, you don't back channel like that. I mean, I don't know if it's technically considered ex parte. I suppose it could be, even though it doesn't involve a judge. But it was bizarre for Laura to just send this, oh, here's this thing I'm going to do to your client to make sure he knows him. But my lawyer doesn't know about this. There was a reason she didn't want her lawyer at the time, because she's had many, to know about it. I like to find modes of operation or modus operandi. What is the reason to do that? I don't have one for this, other than she knows that her lawyer wouldn't have passed it on. So the only way she could keep sort of pushing her agenda and making her threats to try and get what she wants was to circumvent her own legal counsel at the time. It's strange, very strange, and stupid in dangerous ways, especially legally.
But Clayton stood firm, continuing to fight to prove non-paternity and seek legal fees and sanctions. On June 10th, 2024, a major 2-hour hearing took place. Laura perjured herself and changed important aspects of her story, revealing she did not comply with case discovery. In a not-so-shocking twist, Laura made a claim about Clayton and the night they were together, a claim she had never previously made, had never filed charges for, and had no evidence to support.
And when I saw the trial, I was out on vacation when the trial actually took place, and I came back right as it kind of got released, and the judgment happened just a couple of days. I was shocked at the antics of this trial, and I talk about that in an earlier video. Go and check that one out. It was extraordinary watching that woman flounder. She thought she had this all figured out, and she thought the coaching from her
The fucking douche canoe.
yes, her douche canoe lawyer would keep her from getting too far afield. But she made accusations. She made assault accusations. She changed her story in multiple ways, and it was extraordinary to watch this whole shit show unfold as in live court. It was the strangest thing I'd ever seen. But Laura's accusations, I think there's enough to go after her on. I mean, this whole thing, if we could win the lottery for Clayton and all the men that Laura has screwed over and made their lives miserable because they shut her down. This whole thing is over her butthurt of getting rejected by men she wanted. That's the crux of this thing. And where do you learn behavior like that? It has to start further up the chain. Although, as far as we know, Elizabeth Naylor Black Owens, whatever her name is these days, I think she changes it every so often. That's why Laura wanted to change her name, I'm sure, when things went sideways. What other secrets are waiting to be had from this family?
1 week later, on June 18th, 2024, Judge Julie Mata ruled in Clayton's favor,
Yes, she
granting
did.
his request for non-paternity, requiring Laura to pay Clayton's legal fees in the amount of $149,219.76, determined Laura had a pattern of similar, if not identical, behavior, and referred Laura
Yes.
Owens to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for charges of fraud and perjury. In September 20...
As it should have been. And as it should have been from the beginning. Actually, the family law court should have started doing a little bit more research. The thing with Judge Judy was there should have been complaints filed for that one, where Judge Judy admitted to having ex parte communications with the plaintiff. There should have been some things that happened as a result of that. And I know Clayton didn't have a lawyer at the time, and this would have been really helpful to him if he had. That could have been dealt with and probably appealed, I think. Again, I'm not a legal mind. Just a hunch.
24, Laura's lawyer filed an appeal, which is still ongoing. As Clayton dug deeper, he discovered he wasn't Laura's first victim, not by a long shot. She had previously faked pregnancies with multiple men.
Multiple.
During Laura's deposition with Clayton's legal team, she revealed a pregnancy victim from 2014. That year, Laura falsely claimed to be pregnant by a man named Matt. Weeks later, Laura claimed to have had a miscarriage. While living in San Francisco in 2016, Laura met Michael Maricini on a dating app. He quickly noticed some red flags and wanted out of the relationship. When he tried to broach the subject, Laura claimed to be pregnant with his child, later to become twins. Over the next several months, Laura told Michael she had multiple medical and surgical abortions, all for the same pregnancy. She later claimed to have ovarian cancer, sending Michael fake medical documents. In 2016, after admitting she had faked her pregnancy with Michael, Laura threatened suicide and falsely claimed to be in a psychiatric facility. In 2017, after seeing Michael with a new girlfriend, Laura made false claims of physical and sexual abuse. She continued to stalk and harass Michael, and after he reported Laura to the police for harassment in January 2018, Laura filed for a restraining order against him which was granted and subsequently renewed in 2020. The case is set for another renewal in 2025. Laura recorded a self-made TEDx talk and authored a Chicken Soup for the Soul entry detailing this alleged abuse. However, after much research, Chicken Soup for the Soul believed her claims to be false and quietly removed her entry from the digital version of the book in which it was published.
At least they did the right thing there. I mean, after a piece of paper is made, it's a little bit late and it's out there, but at least as far as their online presence for Chicken Soup for the Soul, whatever, at least they took down her bullshit. And hopefully that was a little bit more legally motivated, so she couldn't fight it and put it back up and trying to keep this thing, this fake story perpetuated that she was the.
I was abused by him, Your Honor. You need to give me a restraining order for every man that comes across my path.
Good on them. Good on them for doing the right thing, and hopefully others will follow suit because it needs to happen. It's time to hold Laura Owens accountable, and it's time to hold her family accountable for enabling her.
To this day, not a single piece of evidence has surfaced to support Laura's claims of abuse by Michael. On the contrary, there is plenty of evidence that contradicts her accusations. Laura's next romantic victim was a man named Andrew in 2019. While not much is known about their relationship, we do know that he backed out of an apartment lease with her shortly before ending the relationship.
And before that one goes by, this is the one I was doing a little bit more digging into. I'm not going to reveal his full name, but it can be found with a little research. But he did play for Stanford football and went on to do some other things with his life after graduating in business stuff. And that's about all I want to reveal about him, because I respect his right to some degree of privacy, even though, well, his picture's up there and it's not hard to find out who he is. I hope, and I'm going to reiterate, don't harass people, okay? I hope that he has enough support and some courage to come forward and join all the other men that Laura Owens has abused, and join the other men that Laura Owens has coerced, and take a stand for this sort of fraudulent criminal behavior. I hope there's some way where he can do that. And all of the other men that have dared to have any sort of passing interest in her can band together, not only for themselves, but for the collective good. Because it's going to take a bigger voice, I think, to really push the right sort of action to prevent her from doing this ever again. And bluntly, I think it's going to require prison, because it's not going to be enough to say, well, you can't do that. You can't just accuse people, Laura, and get away with it. You know, you're not a quite wealthy enough person to do that sort of thing. I don't have judge voice. Does God voice work for judge voice?
Laura, you can't do that.
It's not enough. The voice isn't enough either. This is why we have the judicial system. This is why we have the criminal justice system. Hopefully, with the right amount of treatment, maybe the right drugs and some other things, that people like Laura Owens, and I'll even throw Jen Camp into the mix here, since I've talked about her case with John DeLynn and all of that, with some very structured life environment and consequences for not sticking within a moral pathway. Hopefully people like this can be corrected. I know, I get it, not all criminals can be rehabilitated. That's just the way it is. I'm not totally convinced that Laura Owens is beyond redemption. She's had some degree of success thanks to her family members who knew how to work and pull strings. She's been sort of sucking off them, well, her entire life. I mean, has she even moved away? It sounds like that she's always been kind of under the shadow of their wing. All of these San Francisco relationships seemed to happen when the family lived in San Francisco, and then they moved to Arizona, and then things kind of carried over there. And we hear that moms and pops, and even the sister, whose name I suspect, but I'm not going to reveal it because I think I've had interactions with them online. Never mind. Where was I going with this? I'm so excited I've lost my train of thought. At any rate, we hope that there's a pathway that she can get back on the straight and narrow, because some people need it, and some people need some life in prison to reflect on where they've gone awry, and if they have any brain cells left that function, any reasonable neural pathways, this can happen. This can happen unless you're just totally gone pathologically and there's just absolutely no way drugs or therapy or any of the medical therapeutic systems to try and correct people. Hopefully there's a way out. Hopefully there's a way out for treatment for her, and life can be better, and life can be more honest and authentic. And if she does the right things, maybe she will find true love. But this isn't the way to do it.
Like the others, Andrew has remained a target of Laura's ever since, though her tactics with him have been more subtle compared to the lawsuits and public accusations she's used against others. Laura then moved to Arizona and quickly spotted her next baby daddy victim. In July 2021, Laura met Greg Gillespie on Bumble. After hooking up once using 2 forms of birth control and meeting publicly on 2 other occasions, he decided he wasn't interested in dating her. Less than 2 weeks later, Laura claimed she was pregnant with his child, turned twins, and proposed a dating contract stating she would terminate the pregnancy if he agreed to date her. Sound familiar? Laura photoshopped an ultrasound to appear as her own, an ultrasound that was later discovered to be stolen from a 2014 blog post. After Greg discovered the ultrasound had been stolen, Photoshop evidence was uncovered by YouTubers Dave Neal and Megan Fox, discovering a Fiverr
She
logo
hired
smack dab
Fiverr.
in the middle of the
She
image.
hired Fiverr.
When Greg exposed her lies, Laura retaliated with a civil lawsuit claiming abortion coercion, domestic violence, and emotional distress, requesting $45,000 in damages.
Abortion coercion. Where is that in any state statute to prosecute? He coerced me into an abortion, Your Honor. Oh, see, I've done it again. I can't even remember my buttons.
He coerced me into an abortion, Your Honor.
The case was ultimately dismissed in February 2024. Laura has continued to harass Greg for over 4 years, filing for multiple restraining orders and filing bogus police reports, all containing completely unsubstantiated claims. Greg, Clayton, and Michael have now racked up more than $400,000 in fees fighting Laura's false claims. Laura's non-romantic victims have also been forced to spend over $100,000 in legal fees. Her actions have impacted a wide range of people: men, women, businesses, and content creators. Some have spoken out while others remain silent, fearing they'll once again end up in Laura's crosshairs.
And let's not forget Dingus the douche canoe going after Lauren Knighty and saber-rattling copyright strikes against her and all sorts of other things that just sort of magically disappeared after the time frame to submit evidence for such things elapsed. This is why Dingus is...
The fucking douche canoe.
Exactly.
She has weaponized the legal system, filing frivolous lawsuits, spreading false accusations, and using every tactic at her disposal to manipulate and intimidate. An investigation into her fraudulent and perjurious actions, both of which are Class 4 felonies, is still ongoing in the state of Arizona. For more details and up-to-date coverage, check out these resources. The Justice for Clayton community has uncovered numerous inconsistencies in Laura's stories, including the falsifying of ultrasounds, ultrasound videos, sonograms, fabricated medical documents and doctor's letters, false claims of ovarian cancer, HCG test results, financial documents, and even posing as a black man named Chase J. Jones online in an attempt to cancel Clayton. This recap wouldn't be complete without special thanks to Dave Neal. He's been the relentless force behind this story from day one. From exposing fraudulent lawsuits to uncovering Fiverr-altered evidence, he's tackled every twist and turn with unwavering dedication, serving up the truth like a late-night talk show host with receipts and punchlines.
Dave's a great guy. I keep wishing that something else will pop up in this case, and he'll be back on it. He and others, of course, have moved on to bigger and better things, like the whole the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case, and the What the Hales and all that. I think Dave is stuck more with the entertainment news because that's his area of expertise, being the Bachelor Nation. But of course, Tug and Megan have gone on. They are drowning. They are drowning in What the Hales and Lynette Preston's nonsense. More Lynette Preston's nonsense than Jeremy Hales. It's extraordinary. Why is the world so full of crazy people? I don't get it. We are a damaged species. We've got to work on that.
Let me know in the comments if you'd like a video detailing Clayton's full timeline or any other full timelines. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and share this video with everyone you know.
Thank you, Schnitzel. Marvelous. Marvelous. It's a great recap, isn't it? Go visit Schnitzel on her channel. I'm sure she'd greatly appreciate it, and she deserves every bit of it for being a pipeline of truth into some of the bigger channels. There are others as well, but since we did Schnitzel's video, we'll focus on the kudos there. So back to the cavalcade of men. I wanted to talk more about Andrew, but I think the better part of Valor is not revealing too much. If you want to do some digging, you can find it. There are ways to figure out where images have come from, and if one were to do some research, you can find out who he is. And I feel for the guy, as I feel for all these guys. Luckily, I don't have to worry about crazy women. They're not my type. I have to worry about crazy men, and that's a whole different scenario of its own. Luckily, you live and learn, and you make some mistakes, and you choose some wrong people sometimes, but there are ways to rebound from that. And Laura Owens is not one that I don't think she's going to learn from this. I really don't. I don't think she's going to learn from it until something more sinister comes across. It's just so aggravating. It's so aggravating that there are these kinds of people that just run rampant. And it takes a whole community, a city's worth of people to fight back on one person's machinations, be it through the legal system, be it through dragging people through media, whatever. It's just amazing that this happens in our day and age. And like I was saying earlier, maybe Laura Owens should be a sovereign citizen after this fails, and she can say, well, the rules don't apply to me. The laws don't apply to me because I'm sovereign. So therefore, I'm not guilty of anything ever. I mean, that's the sovereign citizen argument usually, isn't it? Lest I divulge into a sovereign citizen channel, of which there are plenty of, and I enjoy most of them. Maybe I should call this one there. I've got some other topics at some point that I want to broach with Laura Owens, some theories and ideas I've been kicking around the old noggin of, well, why would we do this sort of thing? What's in it for her lawyer? That kind of thing. Just to keep this story out there while we're waiting for the appellate court to do something. It's just going to be a slow process because that's the justice system. And I'll also warn that at some point I'm going to get back to some ex-Mormon and post-Mormon content because really that's what I started this for. It just so happened that there were court cases that I found interesting and compelling and sort of parallel to each other in some regards. So I just happened to include them as part of my discourse. For those of you not interested in the post-Mormon content, I get it. Maybe I'll start some separate playlists to kind of divide things up as I produce other things. I'm even looking at some guest appearances. I have a good friend who lived a Mormon experience and has some thoughts about that too. So as soon as I can figure out how to push all the right buttons, because I'm only a third of Megan's medium smart. Megan Fox, that is. No, not that one. Yes, I'm cracking all the jokes. Okay, I don't have the laugh button. That's over on the other screen. Never mind. I'm going to start touching on some Mormon stuff. I get it. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you want to leave, I can't stop you, but do give us a thumbs up. Do like and subscribe. If you hate it, the thumbs down button also works too. There's no such thing as a bad review on YouTube. So just so you know, people, if you go around finding videos you don't like, hitting the thumbs down actually helps it, because you know there's something you're reacting to. All it's looking for is interaction. There's the secret to YouTube. That's all I know. All right. Oh, very good. Very good. Until we've got more dirt to talk about with Laura Owens, stay safe out there, because the world is a crazy place. Later.